Nick. You're welcome.
Okay, so it appears like we have a lot of people here, so why don't we get started? So, good evening. Thank you all for joining tonight. It's an honor to be here representing Mercyhurst University and the AIM program. And I'm honored to dedicate this panel to Brad McGarry. For the past 7 months, my co-host Brady Esham and I have been planning, organizing, coordinating, and doing a lot of outreach to help out with this event and to promote it and to help everyone from different countries, from different colleges, learn about AIM, learn about what the AIM program stands for, learn about what we do. Brad himself has guided and supported so many students and parents and educators and so many leaders in understanding neurodiversity, understanding autism, and understanding the autistic community and population. He has been able to lead with such compassion, but he was also able to lead with an iron fist at times when we needed to learn how best to learn different independence, develop different social skills, and be able to navigate college and post-college life. It is an incredible honor, and I'm very humbled to host this panel for Brad McGarry, who has made such a difference in the lives of so many autistic individuals in the autism and neurodivergent community. And now I want to pass it on to my co-host, Brady Esham.
Thank you so much, Ben, for the introduction and all of your support on this event. To everyone in attendance, both in person and online, thank you so much for being here on this special night, where together we will delve into the stories and perspectives of 6 autistic panelists and honor the legacy of Brad McGarry, the founder of the Autism Initiative Mercyhurst, who's been battling ALS for the past few years and who is here tonight. Once again, thank you all for attending this event. I'm honored to ask our panelists to introduce themselves, and I also want to add, I'm so lucky to work with all of you. We have worked for months to plan this, and it's just so amazing to see all of our efforts here tonight. So, Ben, off to you.
Yes, thank you. So my name is Ben Vanhook. I'm an autistic master's student studying public policy at George Mason University. I'm a Mercyhurst alum of 2021, and I was a part of the AIM program from 2017 to 2021. Since graduation, I've gone on to do a lot of advocacy work in the community. I'm currently the community support coordinator at the Organization for Autism Research, which is an organization that is dedicated to supporting autistic individuals through funding applied research studies to better their supports and better the understanding of autism within the community. I've also done a lot of speaking internationally, having recently spoken at the United Nations about the difference between acceptance and appreciation, and I've done speaking in Melbourne, Australia about employment supports to better support the neurodivergent community. But all of this work wouldn't have been possible without Brad and without the AIM program, because they helped me develop the independence, the soft skills, and the social skills I needed to really succeed in my role and succeed as an advocate. Help me bridge a gap between the neurodivergent, neurotypical communities, and Brad's work and how Brad has helped me has really fostered a sense of confidence, self-belief, and it's really helped me grow as a person and as an advocate. So thank you, Brad.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Streibach. I am from Morristown, New Jersey. And so currently I am going for the master's degree in data science. I actually get my master's degree next month from here. And when I was an undergrad, I got my bachelor's in accounting. So I got my bachelor's in 2021, and I was part of the AIM program from 2017 to 2021, so during my undergrad. And I found AIM to be very helpful for me. I feel like it's definitely been a very easy transition to the real world. It's provided me a lot with good supports here in Mercyhurst, and especially, and then I got to the point where I feel like I learned a lot of these skills. I feel like I knew a lot more how to navigate and like the real world setting, and I feel like transitioning, it's just gonna be a lot easier for me at this point. Because if it weren't for the AIM program, I don't know how I would have survived college. So I'm very grateful for the opportunities that AIM's given me.
Hello everyone, my name is Durkee. I'm a fellow graduate student here at Mercyhurst University, studying organizational leadership, and I'm a current graduate employee in the Mercyhurst Learning Support Service Department. Also, like with Ben and Chris, I also graduated from Mercyhurst in 2021, and I was fortunate to be part of the AIM program from 2016, from create until 2021. So, a little background is that I'm from Tacoma Park, Maryland, which is a little suburb outside of Washington, D.C., because that's where my education actually began at the Lab School of Washington. Because it was, my autism journey did not begin until I was approaching my senior year in high school. And that's when I was first told that I was autistic, because my parents did not teach me about it up until then. So throughout all of my senior year and learning about, that's how my parents were introduced to Mercyhurst and the AIM program and Brad McGarry, and my college advisor was the one who actually advised and really coached my parents to invest and look at Mercyhurst, and so that got me to apply for the CREATE program for 2016, and then the rest is history from there. So, but ever since then, I've really been wanting to dive in and become more of an advocacy for autism and help spread the notion that it is, to me, autism is not a disability. That is the wrong connotation and narrative that needs to be replaced. And instead, for me, and this is how I feel about the Lab School of Washington, where I was taught, is that they teach through the visual arts, and they think of us as a whole person, and that we have different learning styles and techniques. So those are the qualities that I feel anyone who has autism or anyone who has a learning difference needs to be, that's the new message that we need to constantly spread and be advocate for. So that's what I'm constantly looking to explore and help spread my autism.
Hello, my name is Nathan Wooten. I'm from Coraopolis, Pennsylvania. That's a suburb outside of Pittsburgh, 10-minute drive. I'm a junior, majoring in applied sociology. So just like Brad, I'm also working in the social sciences myself. AIM has really boosted me a lot since I started here freshman year, especially since COVID-19 and stuff. I've been a little bit, if some days it felt isolated, but I really enjoyed doing like the activities AIM provided, and also when I found AIM in 2019, it made me very interested in coming here to Mercyhurst. But I kind of feel like it was a good choice for me. I've really enjoyed AIM, and being a junior, I'm excited to and also say I'm interning at Broad Futures next year, and thanks to AIM, they've provided me good skills on professionalism and also ways to talk to employers and impress employers, especially for being on the autism spectrum. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Nash Jones. I'm from Fairview, PA, 30 minutes away from here. I'm a junior. I'm majoring in digital media and communications, and I gotta say, being part of AIMS has just been fantastic. I remember back in high school, I kind of had no friends, pretty much like an outcast, but being here has been great. I've met other people like me, and it has just been fantastic because I've formed really great relationships, and that right there was just the pinnacle. But on top of that, being a part of AIMS has really helped me stride in my classes and doing better when it comes to academics.
Hello, I'm Nico King. I'm a senior graduating this semester with a BA in music and a minor in psychology. My primary instrument in music is my voice, but I also do play guitar, ukulele, bass guitar, and piano. Guitar, ukulele, and bass guitar I self-taught myself all within a few months of having gotten the instruments. And piano, I did take lessons briefly because piano is very difficult to teach yourself, not gonna lie. But I am an advocate for, well, really a self-advocate for the LGBTQ community as well as the neurodiverse community. I came out as transgender officially in 2021 in October, and I have been very, very outspoken since then. It took me quite some time to actually officially come out to everyone. I believe it actually took me about 5 years, but I think that being able to learn how to advocate for myself, especially in the classroom with what AIM and the AIM coordinators have been able to teach all of us, being able to admit to your own mistakes, being able to find courage to actually ask for help, and to actually know that it is okay to ask questions no matter how obscure or simple they might be. Through that, I have found more of a voice and am actually more able to self-advocate for myself as well as advocate for my peers.
Thank you all for introducing yourselves. I'm humbled to have you all on this panel as the second autism panel I've run. Together, you are helping to create a more inclusive, educated, and welcoming environment for our neurodivergent community. As a neurodivergent student, one of the most challenging aspects of academia is the transition between high school and college, as this is a time of many unknowns. Each person has a different path during the end of junior year and into their senior year. During school, autistic students and other neurodivergent individuals can be provided supports through IEPs or 504 plans. To that end, with our first question to our panelists, we aim to learn about the efficacy of the supports they received in school and how well these supports prepared them for the academic challenges which come with attending a college or university. Do you feel like the supports you were provided in high school adequately prepared you for the coursework and experience you have had in college? Are the supports provided in college as meaningful to your success as they were in high school?
Yes, thank you. So the supports in high school were very minimal for me. My high school was a college prep school, so they mainly focused on academics and solidifying different academic and studying skills into us as students. However, they lacked in teaching us different social skills, and they lacked in teaching us time management skills, self-advocacy skills, and they kind of treated us as if we were a child, so they held our hand through everything. We weren't really taught to advocate for ourselves, and we weren't really taught how to make friends. So I was going into college not knowing how to make friends, and that really made the transition difficult because I didn't have any allies on campus. I didn't really know how to socialize with neurotypicals because my high school is also an exclusively neurodivergent oriented college. But I mean high school rather. But I think when I came into AIM, the first thing that happened was I was a part of the CREATE program, which is their college readiness summer transition program. And through this college transition program, I was able to make friends because I was with peers that would be with me for the next 4 years. I was also able to learn about the academic rigor of college because the CRADE program has you take 1 3-credit class. I took English and got to meet some of my professors. I got to learn about how difficult some of the classes would be, as well as different study strategies for college. I also learned how to socialize because we had social skills workshops. So we had a workshop specifically about boundaries and how to initiate conversation, how to leave conversation, how to let people know if a conversation isn't like one that you're comfortable taking part in, and how to express that politely. So we did learn how to interact with peers who may be neurotypical, may be neurodivergent, and that really helped me when it came to interactions with both professors and peers in the future. So the CRADE Summer Transition Program was really helpful because I was able to learn all the social and independent skills I wasn't able to learn in high school.
Right, so my experience in high school was actually very different from Ben's. I went to a high school that was like, it was also for neurodivergent students, but it had a lot more support, and like it was one of those schools that had a lot of, there were a lot of rules in this school. There were a lot of, it was a lot more intense, I would say the word is, of college, because I feel like there was so much structure in that school. They were always telling you need to do this at this time, this at that time. And it wasn't like, there wasn't as much independence in that school, I would say. And, but I did learn a lot of good skills from that school. Like I learned about time management a lot more. I learned about how to advocate for myself because, yeah, going into high school, I had no idea how to do any of those concepts, even during the, first few months, because I actually transferred during my freshman year into that school. And then I feel like because I went to a school that was very restrictive, I ended up getting to the point where I didn't really need a lot of the supports that I needed once I started there. And because I overcame a lot of those, because I didn't need a lot of those, I was able to succeed in a more relaxed program like Mercyhurst University's AIM program.
So I mentioned I went to the lab school Washington, which I actually started in at 3rd grade and all the way up to graduation. So it covers elementary all the way up to high school. And what's very unique about this, it's a private school in Washington, D.C., and they teach through visual arts. So whether it's like through the arts like drama, whether it's natural arts, whether it's music, so they make it so they have like a lot of like activities and classes that are honed into whatever talents we strive to be. So one of my positions was that I was an all-around athlete, so I was in the athletics a lot. But I felt that once I hit high school, I had a lot of support. I was able to have a social worker on campus that I got to meet with personally if I had any issues that needed to be addressed that I was uncomfortable to talk to my parents at the time. But they also helped me prepare for college, because one of the curriculums is that in my junior year is that I had to complete an internship program. So I actually got to learn right off the bat how to go through a whole interview application process, get interviewed, learn what it takes to be an intern at a local. So I interned at a local school as well, for one of the semesters. But that really helped me prepare for once I got into the AIM and once I came to Mercyhurst, because I had a lot of the career path programs that AIM offers. I was fully equipped with the resume, cover letters, learning how to do mock interviews, and so to this day, I feel that the interview process that AIM has really provided is just a routine, the day-to-day pattern for me. And it's a good time for me to mention that over this semester I was actually able to secure a summer internship. So next month, so for the next 3 months, from May to August, I will be up in Cornell University as part of the Cornell Hospitality Internship Program and the Statler Hotel. And I will be working as one of their meetings and events intern. So I'll be actually branching, not just living on my own and all that, but learning how to work in actual group environments and in a real hospitality setting, because that was my major back here, was hospitality management and events. So putting that all together, I feel like I'll really be successful. And so that's why I give a lot of credit to what Mercyhurst and AIM program really provided.
For me, I would say my high school actually did prepare me very well for college, especially for coursework and experience. I actually spent 4 years of high school in public school, so I've gone to school by meeting lots of different people, and including I actually played athletics at my high school, including golf, basketball, and track. So I've had experience of communicating with my teammates, learning how to like pass the ball, dribble it, and also just enjoy the game. Also in my high school, I had a mentor to me. He really helped me out getting through high school and showed me ways to work independently, and I've also had a lot of more skills working independently. I've had sometimes my teachers would come over and make sure I'm doing things well, or if I need help, they assist me with like accommodations and stuff for me. When I was in high school, I also took my tests in different locations, and also sometimes I've had some people give me clues on how to solve like math problems on my tests. And for English, in history I've mastered those myself, so I don't need help in those. But I do have lots of support. I have had support from my teachers in high school, and it's transitioned with me into college, and that's how I've been able to meet people within AIM and also outside of AIM.
Sorry, hang on. My bad. When it came to my high school, I think here, pretty much, there is a lot of accommodations that have been great, and if I do need any types of accommodations, I can reach out to my AIM advisor, and they can help me with how to get those accommodations.
Sorry. High school, I graduated high school in 2018, and from first grade until I graduated high school, I was in public school. I was not diagnosed with autism until I was a sophomore in high school, I believe. I don't remember if I had just turned 16 or if I was still 15. Before I was diagnosed with autism, it kind of, in my school district, it seemed that, especially my mom, was kind of like fighting tooth and nail to get me academic accommodations all throughout my schooling in that school district. And by my junior year, maybe the end, I'm not sure, I'm gonna be honest, high school was a blur for me, it was a while ago. But I was able to get a lot of accommodations, like many different kind of academic tests later. I was able to get an IEP. But I feel that what really helped me like transition from being in an enclosed environment in high school to being able to have some form of independence when I got to college, because when I went to college, I remained in my hometown and went to a community college. Very, very briefly, I got my associates in music there. But I think what helped me a lot, especially with being able to start making my own friendships on that campus was actually taking theater classes, because since I don't know the actual reasoning, but I assume because I'm so very high functioning that they didn't think I needed some form of interactional therapy where I would learn how to interact with other people properly. I learned a lot of how to do that through taking acting classes and doing musical theater. I did musical theater all the way up until I was in my last year in high school. Whether I was in the stage crew, learning how to work with other people, like building sets, painting sets, taking them down, moving them around, and trying to coordinate with other people in the stage crew, how to properly coordinate that in a specific timing without hazards, I guess. But I think that having access to those kinds of arts classes, because I was also a 4-year member of my high school's select choir, which was their audition choir, and my graduating year, I believe I was one of maybe 3 4-year seniors, and I was actually the president of that of that choir. And I feel like having had that opportunity, especially specifically in the arts department of my high school, helped me to be able to learn how to be independent. But I don't think I personally feel that I was not very academically prepared for going into college, especially with my my first 2 years of college. When I came to Mercyhurst, it was very it was also a difficult transition because the coursework here, especially with being a music major, it was much more complex than I've ever had courses in, even in college standing. A lot of it was very much in your face, you have to do this, and I felt very overwhelmed. And even having been in college for about 2 years, I had the social stuff already down, but I felt like I was academically inept, I guess you would say, even with having had a lot of academic support throughout my high school experience. And I feel like a lot of how I was able to succeed and get to my final semester here was being able to figure out how to properly communicate with professors, even if sometimes I did mess up a little bit. But I think being able to learn how to have that independence of talking to someone that's actually trying to help you and not trying to shame you for probably thinking that you're dumb or whatever. But I think AIM definitely helped me with that aspect, whereas all throughout my schooling growing up before I got here, I wasn't really taught how to do that.
As you can see, the supports that neurodivergent students are provided in school are so important. For students who do decide to attend a college or university, there are certain barriers which must be overcome when students go from living at home with their parents to living independently and living on their own. We must recognize that every neurodivergent individual will have their own unique strengths and struggles. Panelists, the next question is, what has been the most difficult part of transitioning from living with your family to living on your own? What life skills do you believe are the most important to finding success in independent living? And how have you, as autistic students, learned to navigate these challenges without your parents?
So one of the most difficult parts about college for me was self-advocacy. When I was younger, my parents would actually yell at me for self-advocating. They would call me selfish, self-centered. They'd say I was needy if I asked for things that may help me in certain situations. If I wanted time by myself instead of spending time with extended family during the holidays, they would just go into my room and say it's disrespectful to my family to be sitting in my room while everyone was like outside communicating and socializing. And they frequently criticized me for not being part of the family. So it was a really difficult transition to go from being someone who was constantly critiqued for advocating for my needs and doing things that would help me to actually being accepted and for it to be expected that I could like fulfill my own needs. So when I was getting into college, and I'll tell a short story, I was in a few classes in my freshman year, and I was not the best at time management. I was not the best at advocating for my own needs. So there were times when college got really rough. I was in a class, it was history since 1945, and I was falling behind. The teacher went over the syllabus on syllabus day, and he made two things very clear. He said that there were two assignments that we had to keep track of because many people fell behind on them. One of them was readings. Many of the readings we had to do were like 80 to 90 pages a night in these really complex textbooks. Secondly, there was a midterm paper that was due in September, and he told us to keep a good eye on that because many people forgot about it. So guess what happened? It was the middle of my freshman year. I had this big assignment. I hadn't even looked at the syllabus since syllabus day, and it turns out that this midterm essay was due in 3 days. So I spent the next 2 out of those 3 days in the library just like cramming, trying to get as many pages done as I could. And guess how many pages I got done within those 3 days? I got 6 pages out of a 10-page essay done.
Wow.
Well, to be fair, I got 4 pages done because one of them was the cover page and one of them was the works cited sheet, so I got 4 pages done. But I didn't know how to advocate for myself. Like, I didn't know how to tell the teacher I was falling behind on these assignments. I was afraid of being judged for saying, hey, I'm struggling with this. So what AIM did was, in one of my weekly AIM meetings, we went over what specifically was challenging me, and my AIM advisor helped me through the situation because we came up with solutions together. And those solutions were to go to the tutoring center, to go to the writing center, and to just communicate with my teacher, tell him or her what was particularly challenging me. And the thing about AIM was they served more as a guide than a parent. They wouldn't reach out to these people for me. I had to reach out to the tutoring center on my own, and I had to be my own best self-advocate. And through these difficult experiences, I was able to grow, and I was able to practice these self-advocacy skills. And that is one of the things that AIM has helped me most throughout college, is to be my own self-advocate and my own best self-advocate.
Right, so I already covered in the last part that like a big part of my high school was learning about like a lot of these skills like self-advocacy and time management, and I think another big thing is that I'm actually starting a big transition in my life right now, because I mentioned I get my master's degree in data science, and I'm gonna have to start a new job, no AIM program or like anything from Mercyhurst at all. Like, I mean, I'm not there right now, but I'm not gonna have like any support because no one's gonna be right there. Like, my parents aren't gonna be there, and I guess a big thing too is like self-advocacy in there, because like a lot of times when I've been working in the job hunt, I've basically been asking like my parents' people to help me like a lot with searching for jobs and like helping me like write letters to people. And once I get to the job environment, if I have a problem there, I'm gonna have to handle it myself, and it's gonna be probably a very tough part in going to a new environment, going to a new place where you really haven't experienced before. And I think that in terms of finding success in independent living, I think some of the big aspects of that could be I mean, self-advocacy is very important because if you don't take initiative, you're not going to get anywhere in life. Like, you're not going to get anywhere if you just rely on people to do everything for you all the time and never seek anything out on your own. Like, it's going to be a lot harder to progress and to make some more like achievements in your life. Like, and I'm also the type of person who likes to push myself to do better, which is essentially like so my strategies to like why I really thrived in like my high school and like in here and like. And I feel like a lot of having that independence, having a lot of that like just trying to push yourself to go somewhere and like just get out of your comfort zone. Because I think that's one of the biggest things that I'm able to do, and especially being in an environment like Mercyhurst, I've really been able to get out of my comfort zone with less support, and hopefully that'll translate well into the real world too.
So for me, so in the early stages when I was first starting off in the Create program over the summer, going back to Create 2016, my biggest fear and the biggest difficulty of that transition was the fear of letting my parents go, having them let go of me physically. Because mentally I knew that I could still keep in touch with them on virtual means, but it was the physical connection that was a little bit harder to adjust for me, honestly, because there would be times throughout my freshman year if they were just coming up to visit, because it's only a 5 to 6 hour difference from my hometown up to here. So they try to make as much time, my parents, to still be here to support me and all. But anytime I watched them physically depart, I would just find myself in teary-eyed. But it's definitely been, but throughout the years I've had like various roommates and all that. Some of them are good, some of them are not. But overall, I've been able to progress, and going into this all leads up into my upcoming summer internship because I've been having some side help from my parents, but I've been the one that's been trying to help initiate finding the living situation up in Cornell, because the program that I'm going into, sadly they don't provide housing. So I was on the lookout for like local apartments and all that. Thankfully, I'm in the current process of securing a sublet apartment, and the help that I've been getting from my parents is mostly just looking over whatever emails that I'm like drafting and sending out to communicate with the people up in Cornell. So that's the level of like responsibility that I've been able to overtake and not have as much control from my parents to say, okay, this is what you need to get done and all that sort of stuff. So for me, I'm really ecstatic to see what the Statler Hotel and what the CHIP program in the summer has in store for me next month. But as far as like the transitioning, that will also be tough in the beginning, but what's nice is that it'll just be myself, so I don't have to worry about any roommate issues and all that, because that was the one key, is that I wanted to just start on my own, just start in a small apartment by myself, these baby steps, and then depending whatever happens in the years to come, if I want a roommate or so, then that will be the next progression.
So my transition to living here on my own was actually a pretty smooth tradition. I grew up as an only child with my parents, so mostly by the age of 13, I was actually able to be living by myself, especially when my parents go out to concerts or just want to go out on a date or something. I can live by myself I could do things myself without them in a way. And the life skills I've learned for living by myself is like timeliness and ways to make sure you do work on time here in college, because I've learned personally through my 3 years so far here at college that work does come a lot quicker than in high school. So some of the ways I do it is like put reminders on my phone that I have to do a research project for research methods. I also have other classes this semester that involve lots of big writing papers, so I remind myself to do those. And it makes me know that it keeps going, because all these writing assignments are a trend every week, so I know that to start one early, to get it done early and proper, I've learned to do well in that. And especially over this summer, I'll be doing an internship in DC for 2 months, so I'll be living by myself without my parents for 2 months. So I'm actually looking forward to that, and it's going to be a lot different than here at Mercyhurst, but I'm actually looking forward to living by myself and also learning when it's time to go to work, just like when I set my timers when it gets close to go to class, or even myself as an ambassador to remind myself I have a tour or an event to do. So I've learned very well about timeliness, and I'm going to keep learning that as I move forward into the future with my jobs, working.
So my transition from home to living on campus, also pretty smooth. Taught myself how to be independent and just mostly living on my own. I think the only thing that was overwhelming was on my first semester here. I tried setting up everything on the first day, and it was just very overwhelming. But when it came to just solve, I would say the main issue when it came to like something of me learning, sorry about that, I'm choking up here. But I would say a good little thing to pass on would probably be, the best method is basically if there is a problem or solution is always to consider your options, and then from there, depending on what is the best method to solving that problem as well. Yeah.
While I was preparing to leave for college, I purposefully decided to distance myself from my immediate family that I lived with, and it was difficult for them because I kind of would I'd see them for meals and I'd have conversations with them, but from my perspective, remembering back to when I was preparing to come out here, and basically I'm 8 hours away from home, and preparing to not be able to constantly see my parents or my younger sister. It was difficult for me because I felt like I could possibly be letting them down from where I would interact with them a little bit more. I do, however, know that I was a fairly quiet kid because I don't like being teased a lot, and that's a lot of familial relationship is a lot of teasing. Especially if you have siblings and the middle child, woo! But I think, like, with my personal preparation of being able to distance myself and get myself prepared into the mindset where my family is not going to be readily available for me to be able to have shoulders to cry on, or be able to hold my hand through very difficult times. And sometimes I do think that it was a subconscious effort, but I do know that I did it for a reason. So when transitioning from living with my family, especially a very tight-knit family that I had growing up, I grew up very much Italian, and we're all supposed to be very tight-knit. Big Italian family dinners every Sunday. But when I grew up, I also was wary of my cousins sometimes, not because I didn't love them, but because I didn't know how to interact with them, especially growing up not knowing how to interact with people. Like, I didn't know how to do that properly until high school, and I didn't actually have confidence even after that. But especially since having come out as trans, it was a little bit more difficult to not maintain relationships, but it was difficult, especially because transitioning, being transgender is very difficult on everyone that's quote-unquote involved, especially for the trans individual themselves, because the biggest reason it took me 5 years to officially come out and actually really want to be visible in my identity, a lot of it was because of the fear of not having the same kind of relationship with someone, especially because in our society, for some reason, daughters are treated differently than sons, and sons are treated differently than daughters, and vice versa for grandchildren, cousins, aunts, uncles, and especially transitioning from female to male, it was difficult because I can remember some family members saying that they didn't know what would be appropriate anymore when they were interacting with me, whether it was okay to hug me or if that would possibly offend me or make me feel unseen, I guess. So especially with that, and not being able to, not really feasibly feeling that I was able to come out properly, having distanced myself from my family, even if it wasn't malicious at all, it really did help me transition into living on my own, because especially when you're finding your identity, whether it's your sexuality or if it's your gender identity, a lot of it is literally soul searching. So when I came out here and I was trying to make decisions, I wouldn't ask other people whether making the decision was the proper decision, but I can remember, especially when I was planning on coming out publicly, because I posted, I think the video was 20 minutes long, on my Facebook that I had. Really, my mom made it for me when I turned 14, but I remember that was the place where I had the most reach to talk to people, and when I came out here, I gained more independence and was more confident in being able to make decisions. However, the official decision to make this video and come out to everyone all at once, it took me about a month to actually write what I was going to say, because I knew that if I didn't have some form of script, I would ramble like I am now. But making your own decisions and learning how to make your own decisions without going to anyone and saying, hey, I think I'm gonna do this. What do you think I should do? It's more of what do I think I should do, and what would I think about myself and my decision after I've gone and made my decision and done the action. And I feel like a lot of times, especially with a lot of individuals like mutuals on social media and such, who have grown up knowing completely, like from a very young age, that they were autistic, that sadly sometimes their parents do tend to baby them, but even like growing up, their peers would also do it, as well as their teachers or professors. Once they would find out someone was autistic, it's a big to-do, and like, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, for whatever reason. I don't know why it's a bad thing, but I think that learning to be able to be confident in your own decisions, not based on what other people would think about you, because I think that's the biggest thing a lot of us have, is our self-image in relation to other people viewing us. I think learning how to be confident in, like, I want this and this is what I'm going to do, especially after having thought through everything, that's like one of those challenges that you really have to get through, especially when you grow up and everyone seems to be making those decisions for you.
Thank you all for sharing your insights. The AIM program values the development of one's social and self-advocacy related abilities in various social settings. A few of the ways in which AIM fosters these social skills within students are through mandatory and non-mandatory AIM events, lunch bunch, peers, and the requirement of being a part of 2 on-campus clubs. As a result, AIM students have been exposed to a variety of social situations, social events, and social gatherings. With this in mind, we want to ask our panelists, from your experiences and social situations, if given the opportunity to create your own opportune social environment, which characteristics would this environment include? Looking back, what are some neurotypical social skills that you wish you would have been taught?
Yes, thank you. So in AIM, 2 of the most impactful types of social experiences were different mandatory AIM events and also vocational trips that AIM took the students on to New York City and Washington, D.C. And there were different characteristics of both of these social experiences that I want to mesh together to create my opportune social environment. The first environment was, as I said, the mandatory social events. And these events, like, we had a Halloween party, for example, every year, where everyone had to go, but they could leave after 15 minutes or 30 minutes if they chose to. And I think having this environment was important because it put us in a neuroaffirming space where we could socialize and interact if we wanted to. We weren't forced to socialize. We could hang out, like I usually hung out by the food. So we weren't really forced to socialize, but just being there, being in that environment helped us kind of learn a bit more about our peers, about being in uncomfortable environments. So and that's kind of translating to work and growing up, because you are going to be put in these uncomfortable social environments in the future, and being able to have that experience beforehand can be really useful. The second experience was a vocational experience, exposure trips, and these were really important because it taught us so many independent skills. Like, it taught us self-advocacy, it taught us time management skills, how to use public transportation, it taught us how to budget properly. So there were so many soft skills embedded within these social programs. But one of the things that I liked most is that you could choose which programs you wanted to go to. If you wanted to go to New York City, you could choose which specific meetings you wanted to attend. You could choose what things you wanted to do. You weren't forced to do something if you didn't have the energy. So it helped you learn about self-regulation. It helped you learn about managing spoons and managing your energy levels. And it also helped you with self-advocacy, deciding whether or not you wanted to go to this event. So my opportune social environment would basically include an opportunity for people to engage, if they want to, with other like-minded peers and neurotypical peers. But also have the opportunity to, at any moment, remove yourself from that situation. Another thing I would suggest is having an agenda ahead of time. One of the great things about the vocational exposure trips is you did get that agenda. You knew what you were going to be doing in New York City for 2 to 3 days. And that really helped my anxiety levels, because I get really anxious if I don't know what's going to happen or if something happens last minute. So being able to have that agenda a week in advance really helped me and really helped my anxiety when it came to these vocational exposure trips. And I think it's also important to realize that everyone has different needs, and having different accommodations from the outset can really help people in any situation, whether it's providing noise cancelling headphones, whether it's having a break room in a separate part of like the building. So having different accommodations to accommodate all needs from the outset is something that would be part of my ideal social situation.
Right. So now to for my ideal social situation. So I feel like a lot of my ideal social situation really comes from Mercyhurst. Like, as a lot of people know from like people who know me on campus, I'm often very outgoing on here. I really want to be involved and just do a lot of the activities here, and I feel like there's a lot of reasons that really play into that. Like, for one, nobody's forcing me to do anything. I get tired a lot of the time. I get tired. There's often times where I might need to take a break and just relax. And I'm going to be completely honest. When I was in high school, I didn't get that. Because, like I mentioned, it was very structured. So they had you doing all these mandatory activities all day. Here, it's not the same as that. Like, luckily here, like, you have a lot more like freedom to choose what you want to do. Like, let's say you're in a club meeting, and your club's meeting today, you don't have to go to the club meeting. And likewise, if you're, let's say there's an event on campus, like there's weekend events, if you want, you can go to this. But if you don't like the event, or if you're just not interested in it, or you're just very busy, you don't have to. Like, I think that all these are really good options to do, and I mean, especially like some of the opportunities that I've really enjoyed here, like going to games, going to the MSG events, and I mean, I obviously enjoy like partying as well, and I feel like having a lot of those. Yep. I mean, having a lot of those events on campus are just really, like, just having a lot of choices, just having a lot of options here. And I think another thing, too, is a big thing is about being in the, I guess another thing is also having it, like, people who are willing to help those who are neurodiverse and people who aren't going to judge you. I'm going to be, going back to my childhood, I was in the theater program when I was from like 11 to like 15. I did theater shows, and there was no bullying there. Like the people who ran the theater, they never cut anyone from their shows, and they'd always invite people to do their shows, and I would get a lot of roles in their shows, and I found it very enjoyable, and it was a very nice extracurricular for me. And a big thing too is I joined. So at the start of this school year, I actually joined the executive board of Aim for Friends. I was vice president for this year, and I feel like, and I feel like a big reason for that, a big reason why I wanted to, is because just I wanted to be in that position where I wanted to be the one who was kind of making my own opportune environment for everybody who was neurodiverse. And we've had a lot of great attendance in some of our events, especially this semester, and I feel like it's just a really good way to just include everyone, and it's a good way for like you're not going to be judged. It's a good way for everyone to just interact and be included. As for the next question, the question is called, what are some neurotypical skills? This is part 2. So I'm going to go back to when I was in elementary school, when I was in the public school system, and a lot of times that is a lot harder compared to schools that are more specifically on like social special ed to like learn a lot of these skills. So I had trouble with eye contact a lot, for instance, and kind of like judging whether somebody was like just reading people. Like, I could never read what somebody was thinking. I would blab on without thinking what anybody else was thinking. I had no idea how to judge that, and I also had no idea, like, I was very limited in what I talk about. I'd only talk about media. And I feel like because I was only talking about like media, for instance, like TV shows, music, movies, etc., like, I didn't know how to do small talk. I didn't know how to talk to people about just their daily life, and now I do. And I feel like a big thing about this is that when I was in high school, that's when I really started to learn a lot of these, because, hey, the one thing about like a lot of mandatory stuff is that it got people to practice social activities more. And one of the big objectives there was to get people to improve socially. And I feel like that was one of the places where I really started to improve my social skills. And luckily, thanks to that, I've been able to really thrive socially here. And hopefully in the real world after this.
So ever since high school for me, I was always involved in some sort of athletic sports. For all 4 years, I did volleyball, basketball, and tennis. So I wanted to keep that sort of regimen when I came here in college. And so the clubs and organizations was really the first foundation, but also it was because I wanted to not be one of the people who just stays in the room, just doesn't be engaged and all. So that's what really progressed me into pursuing the Mercyhurst Ambassador organization, which is one of the most prestigious clubs that Mercyhurst students can be a part of. This is actually the attire that, even though I'm a graduate student, I was an ambassador for 3 years, and my colleague Nate is a current ambassador as well. And so we both had to go through a regimented pledge process in order to be inducted and accepted. But one thing that I actually got to do, and I credit my time as the student ambassador, but I also was the first one to become an AIM liaison. So getting able to spend a semester interacting with AIM students to learn, okay, what do we need to help improve the social and just college environment for neurotypical students, and I would just share whatever feedback in the ambassador meetings that I would have. So that was really the biggest place where I feel that's the biggest opportunity that I've had. And then passing on to that, one of the areas where I feel like we can branch out more is incorporating more icebreaker opportunities in the social environments. Because one of the things that throughout the whole pledge process in any clubs or so is being able to have a 30-second elevator speech to introduce yourself to your fellow peers and not just to try and single someone else out. So being able to get that small talk, because having a 30-second elevator speech, that can open the door to whatever topics or interests that may be common throughout among fellow peers, and so which can also lead to wanting to attend the same social events or activities and all that. So increasing that with more icebreaker opportunities in any organization or clubs would be the most beneficial that I could see being instituted a lot more. It's one thing that actually ambassadors really pride themselves on as well, because we do that a lot with our meetings. And one of the lessons about this is that once you're an ambassador, you're still an ambassador to Mercyhurst. So that's what I try to carry on as well.
So personally for me, I've actually been very social since high school. Like June, I played sports through high school, all 4 years, including golf, basketball, and track. I was on my school's prom committee, so I help work with venues, ways to fundraise to support my school's prom. I've also learned lots of communication skills, especially when I came to playing sports. Practices were mandatory, so I had to go to every practice, or if I didn't show up to them without telling my coach, I was off the team. So I kept going to practice. I've learned a lot of social skills from just playing basketball, especially hanging out with my teammates, to learning to communicate with them when it came to playing on the basketball court and stuff. And I've also learned lots of social skills from all my high school, including how they voted me for homecoming king. And that a lot of those social skills moved up with me here to Mercyhurst, including meeting friends in AIM and also outside of AIM. Just like June, I became an ambassador, so I went through the whole pledge process, and I'm also AIM liaison, except this time I'm actually on a second term of AIM liaison. so I'm doing it twice instead of just once. And it's a very good experience for me. And also Nash and I, we've actually formed a Sunday dinner every Sunday at the down at the grotto, where we like have a table set reserved for us, and we just talk about our day with other students on the autism spectrum as a way to eat dinner and just talk to each other. But I also enjoy the events outside of campus too, especially going to athletic games. I feel like, especially like our autism games, I feel like we could do more like ways to bring students to those games, especially if they have, like if the venue gets too noisy for them, we can have like a room for them to like cool off or to just relax in without sound, or even have soundproof headphones if it gets noisy. But personally, I also enjoy going to some of the events they have, especially AIM events like our Halloween party, and also going to like my club meetings too, including ambassadors.
So as Nathan just said, me and Nathan are AIMS leaders. I still remember that was like a great achievement for me to get. I still remember like even before that I was like hosting small little events, open invite, you can come and go as much as you like, that kind of thing. And this year we got promoted to AIMS leadership, and it's been great. He talked about the Sunday dinner, and that was awesome because with that it basically counts as an event for AIMS students to participate in, and that's just been really nice for everyone, and it's just been great socializing and getting to know everyone. I would say a good way for people on the spectrum when it comes to like social stuff is definitely reflecting and understanding like if you made a mistake and how to improve on that. And that's all.
I used to be a massive introvert, like massive, would never leave my room. I was terrified in social situations. Like I'm still friends with some people from high school, and I could remember, especially being on the all-day Saturday rehearsals for the spring musical at my high school. Normally, all of the whole cast would sit in a circle, right, for lunch. And I would always sit outside of the circle because I was scared of people talking to me, because I couldn't really pretend my way through a conversation as you could with a script from a play. So a lot of times it was very difficult in social situations for me because especially when I started getting diagnosed with autism, I also was diagnosed with not just generalized anxiety, but also social anxiety. And at the time I was diagnosed, it was much worse, to the point where I used to have long bangs that covered my face, and I would hide behind them a lot because it was very difficult, even just listening to people, looking them in the eye, because I was afraid that I would see something in them that I didn't like, or they would see something in my eyes that they didn't like. And I also had what my doctor would like I remember her calling it my invisible audience, where I would always think that a lot of people were trying to either figure out what was going on in my head, or they would just be watching me for literally no reason. And needless to say, when I was starting to be like just a tad bit more social, especially being a teenager, it was, God, I just like, it was very, very difficult But as I started, especially when I started taking acting classes in my high school, it started getting easier because they don't just teach you, especially in like any sort of acting class, it's not just like learning how to mime things or just learning like what improv is or anything. A lot of it is actually learning the structure of a conversation, even if it might be deemed fake, quote unquote. But among that, especially with like the final part of the question, what are some neurotypical social skills you wish you would have been taught? Before I started taking acting lessons, it was very difficult for me to even like figure out what tone of voice someone was using, and sometimes I would think they were mad at me, but they were just being really excited. But I learned not just how to interpret other people's tones of voices, but also my own, because I knew, like, especially now, I know I can be very aggressive, even if I'm not actually trying to be aggressive and mean, especially when I get passionate about something. I get very, like, Leanna sitting in the front row knows how I can get really into it. But I think that I feel it's not even like just for just autistic people needing to learn how to navigate like proper like vocal inflection even, or even how to phrase things. It's not just something that just autistic individuals should be taught. It's something that everyone should be taught from a very young age, whether you're an only child or you have 15 siblings. Like it's one of those things where it's like everyone needs to learn it. And I feel like that with that kind of thing, especially like being tossed into like a social situation, I feel like a lot of times when you're in like an environment with a lot of people, it's really difficult to know where everyone else's heads are at, like if you're on the same page or not. And that's one of the reasons I really love any sort of event that has to do with music, because you know everyone is there for that. It's not just like, oh, I'm here to do something definitely not with that. And a lot of times you'll be in situations where there are lots of people, and it's kind of like a cafeteria where you're trying to find what table you're supposed to sit at, and you have so many different cliques. And I really think, like, especially in like what would be my most ideal social environment, I feel like that even if not everyone agrees on the same thing, that everyone should be on the same page, that everyone exists, no matter what they look like, what they wear, how they sound, the way they just talk in general. I think that especially like nowadays with social media and young people wanting to look like everyone else, that's one of the, I feel like if we all try to embrace our individuality, whether we are dressing like someone else or if we're just like being our own person, there's a lot of issues, especially now that I'm seeing that everyone's trying to be the same person that they saw on TikTok yesterday. You know, like it's really like it's crazy, and you can see it now, especially with because I used to be Laker leader here, and Laker leader, the job is to you're basically helping the transition with freshmen transfers, first year students, from how things were before they got to college into college. And I found a lot of times, especially with interacting with my freshmen, that they were all trying to be people they weren't because they thought that it was cool. And I think that the ideal social environment, knowing that, is just to let people know to embrace their individuality, because if everyone was the same person, life would literally just not exist. There's no, you wouldn't be able to have conversations with people. You wouldn't be able to learn anything. And I think that's one of the biggest things that people of every kind of anything need to learn, is that diversity is what makes society like flourish. And that is kind of like having a diverse, inclusive environment is one of the best ways, especially with autistic individuals, to be able to actually come into their own and be an individual.
Tonight we've heard so many great stories and the experiences of our panelists. Together we've learned so much about the neurodivergent environment. We've learned how to experience or understand something that's so foreign to our own understanding of the world. So as we, with all this great new information, as we close the panel tonight, there are a few people that we would like to thank. And Nico, actually, if you go under the table, there is a box, and in the box...
It's not on my side of the table.
It's not? Okay, so for one of you guys, you can go under the table. There is a box. And inside the box, there's a black box. That's the first one we need.
Whoa.
Whoa. It's a fancy black box.
So, about 7 months ago, one of the AIM student support coordinators reached out to Brady and asked him to connect with me. At that point, we only met once. And it was for chicken tenders at the Roost. And it was like a short 5-minute conversation. But little did we know that this interaction would lead to us hosting this panel together for Brad McGarry. This individual that we want to recognize was essential to my growth as a student and human being, as she showed compassion, care, empathy, and a willingness to listen through even the most difficult of moments. She taught me a lot about social norms, about boundaries, about expectations, relationships, and she's also been, to this day, one of my best friends and one of my biggest supporters as an autistic self-advocate. I can remember many meetings in her office to this day where we spoke about education reform for hours, and she was someone who was always willing to lend a guiding hand and a listening ear.
This person believed in me from day one. We got to grow together, learn what would work and what wouldn't. She helped me develop self-care skills, slowed me down when I needed it, and stayed with me every step of the way. Our weekly meetings were engaging conversations that made me feel successful and heard. She supported the panel 100% and advised me in all the best ways to find my best self, and that sometimes it's okay not to get all A's. Although, I will always try my best to. She encouraged me to follow my dreams and never stop fighting. At this point in the event, it is our distinct privilege and honor to ask Liana Hicks to please come up to the front and receive a gift from us all the panelists.
This means a lot to me. I believe in these students from day one, and they inspire me just as as much as I inspire them. So, thank you so much.
At this time, I am honored to invite to the podium Amanda Mulder, Director of Aim and Create, to say a few words. Amanda, while having taken over the director position just this year, has already made so many positive impacts on AIM students and was a huge and instrumental supporter to the development of this event and to my development both personally and professionally. Please welcome Amanda Mulder.
Hello, everyone. Wow, my very first speech as director. This is amazing. It's so great to see you all here tonight. Thank you for joining us tonight for the Brad McGarry Autism panel. Amazing quote from Rachel Barcelona, the 2017 Autism Spectrum Award winner, says, "Everyone has a mountain to climb, and autism has not been my mountain. It's been my opportunity for victory." And this year we are celebrating the 15th anniversary of the Autism Initiative here at Mercyhurst. And our students and alumni have not only climbed mountains, but they've achieved many remarkable victories. During my 4 years here in AIM, I've heard the epic tales of students hiking Mount Kilimanjaro with Brad, sailing 2 weeks aboard the Lady G. Howard, and speaking in a national broadcast in Jakarta, Indonesia. And I myself have even experienced the magic of conquering the canyon and our vocational exposure experiences in Washington, D.C., where AIM students consistently impress employers, representatives, and organizations with their communication, knowledge, and advocacy skills. We have brilliant neurodiverse students and alumni that are changing our world, and I'm very proud of all of them every single day. And tonight, the notable accomplishments continue here this evening with this event, led by Brady Eshim, featuring this incredible panel of neurodiverse students who not only serve AIM, but our community and our world as leaders. From the bottom of my heart, I thank each of you for sharing your experiences so the rest of us can learn, grow, and better embrace neurodiversity everywhere. Everyone, can we take a moment and give them a round of applause? Thanks, sir. And none of anything that we do in AIM would be possible without the amazing student support coordinators, staff, volunteers, interns, that support students, professor, and everyone in the greater, on campus and in the greater Erie community. I'm thankful to everyone in the past and present that stands by AIM and supports our mission to meet the unique needs of neurodiverse individuals. And finally, AIM's notable accomplishments these 15 years would not be possible without the exceptional leadership of Brad McGarry and his revolutionary ideas. He's the namesake for this panel, and it's a well-deserved honor, and we're just so happy that Amy and Brad are here with us tonight. So it's just wonderful. We love you, and we're so glad you're here. I'm fortunate to not only know Brad as my former supervisor, but he's transitioned to be one of my leadership mentors and close friends, and he still cares immensely about AIM and has helped me tremendously as I've transitioned into my new role as director. AIM will continue to be a program where we support students with their academic, independent living, social, emotional, and vocational skills. And AIM will continue to be a program to empower students to achieve and aim for their dreams. Brad has joked with me, we talk a lot, that I'm the new and improved him. And my passion and commitment to this program and neurodiverse students motivate me daily to live up to those words. Many people on campus know about my love of Yoda. It's no secret if you come to my office and visit. But Brad's been like a real life Yoda to me, and I'm so grateful just for everything. So, Brad, Yoda best. And so, as AIM continues, to move into the future, we're looking forward to more opportunities where students can show the world that that autism is not a mountain. It's an opportunity for their personal victories. Carpe diem.
Thank you so much for your words and support, Amanda. We would love to present you with this gift and to honor your efforts, and as many people often say, aim for the stars. Last but not least, we want to thank Brad McGarry for the many years he has dedicated to advocating and supporting the neurodivergent population. This is your mic.
We as panelists can confidently say that we would not be here without you. We would not be here as students, as advocates, or as people without your support in our academic, independent, social, and emotional domains. We would not be as successful, and we would not have been able to survive, never mind thrive college, without your support and without the dedication that you have given to the autism program throughout all of your years at Mercyhurst. So we, as panelists, want to take the time to thank you for everything you have done for ours and also for the neurodivergent community as a whole. So thank you, Brad.
If there's one thing AIM and my family and friends have given me, it is the importance of the support system and the members of one local community. When I think of your impact, Brad, I often think of it as a tribe. We are together in the program, but we all have our own journeys which we will follow. The best way for me to describe your impact on me is to share the story of 210. In 9th grade, I got to go on a trip for marching band, and this is where I found my tribe for the rest of high school. I spent the weekend, that weekend, and the rest of my time in high school with Stephen, Jaden, and Connor. Each one taught me something different. Stephen, the importance of loyalty and patience in friendships. Jaden, the importance of always being myself. Jaden, the importance of always following my heart in the creative thoughts and ideas I have. And Connor, in the importance of always being myself no matter what. Jaden even designed the logo for the event. Brad, you show so many neurodivergents what is possible and encourage them to achieve their best. You teach all these values that my tribe in high school taught me, as well as so many other vital life lessons. Your work inspired me to find my home in Erie, and I feel so honored that you interviewed me for AIM virtually. I can't thank you enough for all your amazing work for our community.
Throughout your years of working with AIM, Brad, you've worked alongside some incredible and amazing people. You have brought together so many communities from so many different countries, from so many different locations, and from so many different states, all with the same goal of supporting and empowering neurodivergent individuals, whether they were AIM students, whether they were people who helped with the vocational career programs, or vocational programs, whether they helped with CREATE, whether they were allies of autistic individuals. So we wanted to take some time to give back to you. And what we have done is we have compiled a list of current and former AIM students talking about their experiences at Mercyhurst University and the impact that you have had on their lives. And the main message of this video is thank you.
Thank you.
One second, let me pull up the video.
see the dawn of a new beginning. This time we can't go home. I hear the streets of tomorrow calling.
Go. Hey Brad, this is Ben. I wanted to take the time to thank you for everything you have done to help me become the self-advocate and help me become the leader I am today in the disability community. I could not have gotten to where I am without your hard work helping me solidify these independent skills, such as time management, such as being able to advocate for myself and vouch for myself. I could not have been able to get where I am without the social skills you have helped me achieve and you have helped me develop over time. And I am really grateful for everything you have done for me and for so many other students in helping us see what is possible and opening doors that we didn't even think existed and helping us achieve our hopes, our dreams, and our aspirations. I thank you so much for everything you have done for all of us.
Brad, it's been good knowing you. I still remember the day I had the interview with you for AIM on the first day I toured Mercyhurst. I really enjoyed my 4 years at Mercyhurst, all the fun events you organized in helping me get through college. I could not have done it without your support and all the other AIM staff support as well. I'm sad you're not doing well and wish you were doing good like you were before. I love you so much.
We are the ones that will be remembered, singing. This time we can't go home. Oh, like we've been caged by a higher power.
Hello there. My name is Paul Cohen. I'm an alum from the Mercyhurst University AIM program who majored in public history. The AIM program, where do I begin? I owe the AIM program everything. They helped me succeed through college, and I owe Brad McGarry immense gratitude for all that he did, he and the other AIM faculty, to help me succeed. The greatest part about AIM was traveling. Going to Africa, going on safari, climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, hiking the Grand Canyon, going on a sailing trip around Florida, networking in New York City and Washington, D.C. I would not have been able to have done that while in college if it weren't for Brad.
My name is Evan Hartano, and I am an AIM alumnus. Some of my favorite AIM memories include the annual AIM Halloween parties, the spring 2019 AIM Washington, D.C. trip that I embarked on, and spending Hearst Day celebrations with AIM friends. Brad McGarry was such a wonderful mentor and friend to me and my family. Without his help and support, I would not be able to successfully complete my studies at Mercyhurst University. My most favorite memory with Brad is the Thanksgiving dinners that I got to spend with him and his family at their house. While everyone else went home, Brad and his family graciously welcomed me into his family home. Throughout the years, the AIM program has supported me, mainly because the people there have helped me grow into an independent man with the courage to pursue the things he loves. This was how AIM helped me to get to the point of currently studying and pursuing animation at the Savannah College of Art and Design in Savannah, Georgia.
everybody. Greetings from Honduras. My name is Zenia Zelaya, and I used to be a counselor for the AIM program and had the privilege of working several occasions as staff during the Create Summer program. I personally want to thank Brad and the whole AIM family for opening their doors, their hearts, and opportunities for international students such as myself. I also want to continue by saying that part of my favorite memories were actually during this summer Create program. For example, did you know my first time visiting the Niagara Falls was with the Create Summer program, surrounded by fantastic individuals with great and wonderful minds that today are part of my networks and my friends. So thank you, Brad, for teaching me that it does not matter where we come from, what's the color of our skin, or what language we speak on. There's a place at the table for us in decision making. Thank you for showing us that we all should speak the same language. That's love, happiness, and understanding each other. Thank you, Ben, for reaching out. Brad, once again, thank you. I love you very much. My prayers are up for you and your family. Keep fighting. You have people around the world rooting and praying for you. Bye-bye.
Hello everyone, my name is Colin Davis. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I graduated from Mercyhurst in the spring of 2021 with a degree in hospitality management with a concentration in hotel management with minor in communications. And I'm thankful for the Mercyhurst AIM program because without them I would not be where I am. And I also thank Brad for his help helping me get through all the obstacles that I overcame. And I currently right now work at Walt Disney World as a day custodial cast member at Disney's Animal Kingdom theme park. And before, I was on the Disney College program and day custodial at Animal Kingdom theme park. But I'm forever grateful for AIM for helping me and being able to help me and get through everything else. And also before Disney, I worked at Alumni Hotels Resorts as a housekeeping supervisor. And then before that, I worked at Cedar Point for a couple of seasons to get my foot in the door and help me to get the job where I am at Disney. But working at Disney has its moments too, but it's always growth and opportunity, and the sky is the limit for me and for others. But always believing myself that something true will always happen. But always having something like true will happen. But thank you everyone for believing in me and trusting me in the process. Have a good day. Bye.
So Brad has impacted me in the sense of never giving up. He always is able to give some sort of like that fighting spirit, willing to go out of his way to give everyone and anyone a sense of meaning and camaraderie. I never worked with Brad directly through my time in the program, but whenever I saw Brad, it felt like a personal person-to-person relationship. And I feel that that is something that is cherishable, that frankly, I've never seen in anyone else. It's such a special thing.
Hey everyone, Nick Mather here from the class of 2019. Brad and the AIM program have changed me in a lot of ways. One I can think of is in my freshman year, I wasn't enjoying the major I was in, so they convinced me to change it, and they helped me pick out a new major, pick out new classes that fit better with what I wanted to do in my life, I'd say, and things just went better from there, I feel. I'm also grateful for a lot of the vocational trips I've gotten to go on with AIM, such as to Washington and to New York. I'm also really grateful for a lot of the career prep that we've gotten to do on campus as well, such as the CP classes, but also the one-on-one stuff, meeting with our AIM advisors, getting to do mock interviews with them, getting to meet with the people from Career Path to have them look at our resumes, our cover letters. The format that I used to apply to my current job is the same format that Adam Glass kind of gave me to use for my resume back then when I was applying for internships. One thing that I will always be grateful for with AIM is the people I've gotten to meet through it. I've gotten to meet so many people like me with the same struggles and a lot of the same interests. I am still such good friends with a lot of the people I met in the program. So, Brad, AIM, thank you for changing my life, for making me a stronger person. I still struggle here and there, but I'm better than I was when I first started college, let's put it that way. And Brad, I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you all the way. I have been rooting for you all the way, and I will keep doing so.
Hi, I'm Norman Galelli from the Mercyhurst class of 2019. Currently, I work for Ernst & Young as an associate for the Neurodiversity Center of Excellence, whose employees are involved in a wide variety of projects, ranging from data science to process automation. Thanks to Brad and the AIM program, I have learned to become more independent, overcome social barriers, and improve my networking skills. My favorite experiences with Brad and the AIM program were the many vocational experiences we went on, especially the 2018 Autism at Work Summit in Seattle and meeting with representatives in Congress the following year in Washington, D.C. The chance to network with several employers who began their own neurodiversity initiatives, such as at EY, was beyond rewarding, as we were able to bring this one often overlooked aspect of diversity into the spotlight. Brad, we love you so much, and thank you for all that you have done for us. Carpe diem.
Hey Brad, Gene here. I was really honored when Ben sent me an email and asked me to participate in the video that he was creating for you. So I thought no better place to do that would be in my backyard, out overlooking the desert behind my house. So I know that's one of your favorite places in the world, and I'm really glad that I was able to share that with you and your family in years gone by. And I think back of years gone by, I remember things like you and I collecting scorpions in my backyard, put in a jar so you can bring back to Erie and do a little show and tell for your boys. I think about summiting Kilimanjaro together, and then I think of us leading subsequent groups up Kilimanjaro and around Sedona in northern Arizona and the Grand Canyon. And so all of those things are things that we've done together and that are always fond memories for me, and I hope for you too. I wish you well in every aspect of your life, and I just appreciate the time we've spent together, and I'll hopefully be in or nearby Erie in the very near future, and so that we can get together another time. So I'll look forward to that. Until then, take care, my friend. Be well.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Hartwell. I am a 2019 Mercyhurst University graduate, and I worked for the CREATE program through AIM from the summer of 2016 to the summer of 2018, and I was also a peer mentor during my time at Mercyhurst through the AIM program. My favorite memory was when it was my first year working in the CREATE program, and Brad taught the psychology course. And I feel really lucky that I got to sit through that course. I had never seen anyone so passionate about what they do, and it was really cool to see him apply all of his knowledge about psychology to the AIM program and to students on the autism spectrum. So it was not only engaging for me, but I could see the students be really engaged as well, and to be able to apply what they're learning to their individual lives definitely made the whole class more of a welcoming environment and a safe and comfortable environment as well. Working with Brad helped build my confidence in working with students in general, and Brad is one of the, if not the most intelligent person that I've ever met, and he is the only intelligent person that I've met that doesn't make me feel any less intelligent. It's the way that he talks to people, the way that he connects with people. He lets you feel just as intelligent as him. And he's never made me feel any less, and if anything, I've always learned something from him through our conversations. And truly, he's just one of the greatest people that I've ever met. And I feel very lucky and very fortunate to have gotten to know Brad over the years. I just want to say, Brad, I wish you all the best, and I wish your family the best, and I'm always sending my love from anywhere in the world. And it's been a pleasure to get to know you. So thank you for all that you have done for me and you've done for the AIM program as well.
Hi Brad, it's Sarah. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to have the full college experience and meet lifelong friends. Thank you for all the support you gave me throughout my education at Mercyhurst. And finally, thank you for believing in me and saying that I could do anything I put my mind to, because it led to me getting this. Thank you again, and I will keep praying for you.
Hi, my name is Sierra Steele, and I was an AIM student from my freshman year in 2016 until I graduated in 2020. Without the support of Brad McGarry and the rest of the AIM staff, I likely wouldn't have graduated at all. About 3 months into my freshman year, my brother passed away suddenly, and AIM was there for me. It was my AIM advisor at the time, Marsha Anderson, who helped me with my grief and sent me to counseling when I needed more help than she could provide. And it was Brad himself who escorted me back to my apartment after my classes and was there when I learned the terrible news from my parents. AIM handled notifying the school and my professors of my absence, and the staff even came to my brother's viewing, bringing my closest friends with them. My whole family was touched to see them there, and I am thankful for the help they provided. The staff was also there in my sophomore year when I had to rush to the hospital with intense pain in the middle of the night to learn that I had to stay overnight and have surgery the next day. It was the AIM residence coordinator at the time, Michelle Winwood, who escorted me to the hospital and stayed until my father arrived. She also allowed my father to stay the night in my empty apartment so he didn't have to drive the 45 minutes it took to get back to our home and then come back in the morning. Once again, AIM also took the duty of notifying the school and my professors of my absence and excusing the few days off I would need for recovery. I am so thankful for this help as well. One of my favorite memories from AIM is of the trip we took to New York City my junior year. It was my first time there and I was in awe of everything. I enjoyed the meetings and was thrilled that Wells Fargo gave us the opportunity to attend the No Barrier Summit on the USS Intrepid. I enjoyed being around all those people who wanted to show that they were more than their disability. This trip was one of my favorite memories of Brad, as since I was the only one who had never been to New York City before, he made sure to take a picture of me on my first subway ride and help me in navigating the city. I loved this trip and I'm so thankful that AIM selected me to go. In conclusion, I just want to thank Brad McGarry and AIM for everything they've done for me and for all the students that have ever been in AIM, currently are in AIM, or will be in the future. Thank you.
Brad, this is Nathan. I would just like to thank you for your time in AIM. I remember when you were during my interview when I first became AIM, and ever since I started an AIM program, it's really changed my life here at Mercyhurst, and it's going to change my life in the future. And thank you very much for that, Brad.
Hey Brad, thank you so much for the opportunity. Thanks so much for the AIM program. I feel like without the AIM program, I don't know how successful I would have been in college, and I feel like, especially being a panelist, it's a really good way to kind of show the impact that I've had and that AIM's had on me, and just having all of the connections here and just being able to relay a lot of ways to others and to be more influential to others, and Carpe Diem.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brady Esham, and this year I served as the Vice President for the Council for Exceptional Children. Brad, I can't begin to tell you how much it means to me that this event, which I started last year as a way for students on the spectrum to share their stories, has now reached a global audience around the world with viewers from Kenya, Australia, England, South Korea, Mexico, Canada, all over the world, and over 28 different universities. The truth is, your impact on this community is far from over. It's just beginning. As I always like to say, the best is yet to come. We will continue to expand. Me and Ben will continue our advocacy work. The panelists will go on
and AIM students will go on to find meaningful work because of the career path course and because of the supports that you put in place for the AIM students here at Mercyhurst. You bring up the best in our community, you bring out the best in each of our panelists, you bring out the best in me. I remember when you interviewed me, you were the reason I wanted to come to Mercyhurst. Your vision, the education department, but I felt at home the minute I got to campus. I felt like this is where I was meant to be. And I hope you realize that this moment belongs to you, belongs to us, and we're so thankful to share it with you. And we will continue the work in your name and expand this event year after year, and then leave it as a huge hallmark of the Mercy tradition. Carpe diem.
I am truly honored to be a small piece of it. More than that, I am proud. People have asked me what I would want to be my legacy. Every student that has been a part of AIM and came out the other side is my legacy. Again, I am truly honored to have been a small pit stop in their journey down the road of life. Tonight validates the success of the program and the talent of the young adults that are a part of it.
All right, that marks the end of the event. I don't even know what else to say. I've said so much. Yes. Well, I know that all of them.